The little red light hasn't gone all the way across, but it's
Okay.
about to.
One hearing aid isn't
Oh, take your time. I'm going to
popped
share.
in.
I'm now sharing
Share the presentation and then they won't see you.
Unless they look at you off.
Oh, boy.
You'll have to turn off your camera if you don't want.
Hold on.
You see the share?
One second. All right, I think we're live.
I have shared.
Okay, we're there. Good evening, everyone. This is Giaquinto, the superintendent of Galloway Township Public Schools. And I'd like to welcome you to our, really, I think, first ever virtual town hall meeting. I want to thank everyone for watching this evening, for the tremendous response we have had from parents who have completed the commitment form for their children. As I think you all know, they are due today. And we also realize that some of you were waiting for this meeting before submitting your form. So we truly hope that your questions can be answered or your concerns addressed. We have about an hour allotted for the meeting, and we are recording it. We will either post the recording or create a frequently asked questions document, or perhaps both. We hope you give us a chance to do that. Obviously, that will not get done tonight. Overall, I want to thank everyone for your patience and support as we work our way through the pandemic and our restart and school opening plans. I am going to start by sharing some information before I turn it over to the question and answer period. There is someone who called in prior to us starting. I am going to need to disconnect that call and ask that you call back once I move to that portion of the meeting. Probably the hottest topic this week is face masks. In fact, after the governor made the announcement about face masks, we actually saw a shift in the percentage of families selecting the hybrid model versus the totally virtual. And the governor's announcement was at a very broad level. In the school districts, we were sent more detailed information. So I want to begin this evening by sharing that information with you. I do have several hosts helping with tonight's meeting. Our directors of curriculum, Mrs. Betty Napoli and Dr. Michael Hinman, as well as our assistant school business administrator, Heidi Bakula. So one of them is going to share the screen so that I can talk to you about face masks. So if you look at this slide, and we will post this as well, in the original guidance from the State Department of Education, there was, of course, the inclusion of face mask wearing, but it talked about where there was social distancing, or, and what was very important to us in the school district, where there was a physical barrier. And if you have read or listened to things I have previously shared, you know that we purchased a desk shield for every child, for every student desk, and for every staff desk. Well, the new guidance does not allow that the social distancing and or physical barrier alone will allow us to implement the use of face masks as we originally planned. At the same time, it is not a straightforward face mask from the minute they step on the bus to the minute they get back home. So while I am not going to read this to you word for word, I do want to highlight some key pieces. So it does say that all students are required to wear a face covering. And when the governor talked about this, again, he talked about kind of, I'll call it portal to portal. He talked about it portal to portal. However, there are, like many rules, exceptions. You see in that first bullet, unless it inhibits a student's health. It also mentions something about young children or individuals with disabilities. So then there is a list of exceptions. Once again, we see a statement about a student's health. If you go down a little further, you will see a documented medical condition. And this is something where that's not a parent writing a note, oh, my child has this condition, but it would require documentation from a physician. It also mentions a disability reflected in an IEP. It mentions children under the age of 2. Of course, we have no school children under the age of 2. Everyone in district is at least 3 years old. An important point is that the mask does not have to be worn, or the face covering, when a child is eating. So you may recall that we offer universal breakfast. So children that are eating breakfast in school will be allowed to lower their face covering. We will expect them to be behind the plexiglass barrier that we are providing. The same thing at lunchtime. So that is already 2 times during the day when the child will be able to lower the face covering. It then gets into some things that I think most of us would agree are common sense. You know, not placing a face covering on someone who is unconscious or in a high intensity aerobic activity. It does mention being able to remove them during gym or music class in a well-ventilated location, as long as it is 6 feet apart. Obviously, we will be assessing that for both phys ed and when music is in person. The part about creating an unsafe condition when executing
At this time, we were experiencing some technical difficulties. Dr. Giaquinto was in the process of reconnecting her computer at this time. Thank you for your patience.
My apologies, folks. For some reason, I disconnected, although my colleagues remained on. So if we could get that shared screen back up. And thank you for your patience. I think we know this is the world of virtual learning and virtual meeting. So where I was talking about us assessing the spaces for phys ed, for music, to make sure we are meeting the standards set by the state. The last bullet on this slide also acknowledges the fact that, and quoted, frequent discomfort is a challenge when face coverings are being worn. So I'm not sure if you can read this on the screen, but it says students and staff should be provided face covering breaks throughout the day. Obviously, if there is a face covering break, we need to be practicing other measures. For example, is it nice weather and we can go outside with that class? Or we're behind the barrier, we're 6 feet apart. So although I know it came across when the governor announced this as a very cut and dry one or the other, when you look at this guidance, there is some flexibility. So again, for every child, we know they will be able to lower their mask when they are eating breakfast, when they are eating lunch, and we will, as an administrative team, in consultation with our school nurses, with our district doctor of record, look at how we can also implement breaks for the wearing of face coverings. Again, we will post that information to make sure you all have it. So at this point, I am going to switch gears and open up the town hall meeting for phone calls. The shared screen will be up in a moment that will give you the call-in information. As you will see, everyone is calling to the same extension. I will only answer one question at a time. If I do not answer, if you get a busy signal, please hang up and continue to listen through the YouTube stream, through the live stream, and simply call back. Again, we have allotted up to an hour, and we'll see how busy we are. I'm going to go get the phone. They hung up that fast. Hi, this is Annette Giaquinto. How are you tonight? Whoever that was, please call back. Folks, to let you know, and the screen is coming up. Once you hear the initial auto voice message, you simply dial the extension 1022. I am thinking there's someone out there who has a question or a comment. Hi, this is Annette Giaquinto. How are you? Something's not working right. Who's ever calling, can you try to do the extension 1022?
Welcome to Galloway Township Public Schools, where
It's a different extension. Galloway Township Schools, this is Annette Giaquinto.
Hi, Mrs. D, how are you? I have a quick question regarding virtual learning. I'd like to know if I have students in elementary school.
I started to hear you. You were asking if I have a student in elementary school, and then you cut out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So my question is, I have 2 kids in elementary school, and we're going to be doing complete virtual. And I am wondering if a video is allowed in the classroom. Obviously, not showing the students, but to the teacher when she does things on the board. Can you hear me, Dr. J?
Yes, you cut out for a moment, but I can hear you again. You were asking about a video to see the teacher on the board.
Right, so the children, what I noticed over the spring and all, is that, my kids didn't feel like they were part of the classroom environment. Obviously, everything was virtual, but now that it's hybrid, is there a way that a camera can be put into the classroom so the children can feel like they're really part of the classroom? They can watch the teacher writing things on the board, especially when it comes to mathematics, and things like that.
So let me share a little bit of information that I think will help answer your question. We have a committee of 35 educators. Actually, Mrs. Napoli is leading that committee, and Dr. Hinman is joining in as well, that are planning what virtual learning will look like in terms of if a child is totally virtual as well as in a hybrid setting. So one of the things is whichever setting it is, there will be both synchronous, meaning live, where they will see the teacher live, they will hear the teacher live, whatever, the teacher will be able to share the screen, demonstrate all of that, as well as things that will be asynchronous, meaning more it's going to be posted. You're going to watch a video on your own. You're going to have an assignment. It will,
like Google Classroom and what we
yes,
did in the spring.
it will absolutely be so much better than last year, simply because we have the summer to plan, learn from our mistakes, learn what worked for parents. In addition to that, the children that are totally virtual are going to be very likely a class unto themselves. So when it is the live portion, say through Zoom, like I'm on Zoom tonight, even though you're watching the YouTube.
Right.
So when the times of day when it is live and the teacher is using Zoom, every child in that class that logs into the Zoom, and we hope it's all of them, they will all be able to see each other.
Right, like they did in the spring, but I guess my question is, will they be able to see like the blackboard, the teacher, especially when it comes to math?
Yeah.
I have kids going into 4th grade at Arthur Rand.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if they'll be able to see, the blackboard when they, because kids learn in different ways, as we know, auditory, all kinds of ways. So that's what I was just, that's my only question.
Yes.
That's what I was.
Absolutely. That will be happening. And I will say all of the teachers are getting new devices, enhanced ones that have built-in webcams that will enable them to really show not just their face, but other things. If you look behind me, you can see the whiteboard behind me. So if I stood up and started writing on that, that's exactly what can happen in the classroom.
Oh, that's fabulous, Dr. G. I appreciate that. That's, I wish you all the best. I know it's a trying time.
We will get through it as a team. I thank you for kicking off our questions. Be well.
Thank you.
Take care. So we're ready for our next call. While I'm waiting for a call, I will say, oh, here we go. I won't say that. Hi, this is Annette Giaquinto. You're part of our town hall meeting.
Yes, I had a question.
Certainly.
Yes, I was wondering, I actually have two questions, if you wouldn't mind. The first question is, how did the school come up with the days associated with the partial virtual learning, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, versus having the Wednesday as the break day, so that the students who attended Tuesday, Wednesday, there was a clean day in between the students who are assigned to Thursday, Friday?
Sure, I can answer that. And there is actually both an instructional reason and a non-instructional reason. So I'm going to go to the instructional reason first. In the hybrid model, by putting the virtual day on Monday, we are able to have all of the children in that teacher's classroom, whether they're in the A group or the B group, all hear the initial learning and goals and overview of assignments and all of that to start their week. So whether you're in the A group or the B group, you are all educationally for that week starting the same way. And we really believe for the children and their learning, that is really important. On the non-instructional side, one of the many things we are required to do is meal service, meaning breakfast and lunch for our children that qualify for free and reduced, as well as offering breakfast and lunch to families that wish to purchase it. And we have to do that for every day, whether a child is in the hybrid model or attending in person. So by having Monday as the virtual day, we can distribute 5 days worth of meals like we did in the spring, like we have done most of this summer. If you're all virtual and need 5 days of meals, you can get them all on Monday. If you are a B group student, that's on Thursday and Friday, your family can come on Monday and get the meals for 3 days. Same for the A children. And this enables our food service staff and staff who help with distribution to do this while there is no one to feed in person. And that is a very simple answer to a very complicated task. Now, that doesn't address the part about cleaning. And I realize there is this concept of deep cleaning. And one of the things that I have learned is it's not just about cleaning, it's about disinfecting. And they are two distinct steps. Well, we have discussed this in detail with our operations manager for the district, our school business administrator. We discussed it with our board facilities committee. And that cleaning and disinfecting doesn't need to wait for a day off. In fact, it can't. That cleaning and disinfecting will happen each and every day after the students dismiss. And that is one of the reasons that we are doing the early dismissal. So obviously certain types of custodial work needs to happen while the children are present. But then when the children are dismissed, all hands on board from our custodial staff to do that deep cleaning and disinfecting every single day that children are present. You said you had another question.
I do. I actually have two more, but I don't want to hog the time. But something you said to the previous caller just prompted a question. I'm sitting here with another mom, so she could actually ask it, so it doesn't look like I'm asking.
It's fine.
But the second question that I had was concerning the temperature check and the decision not to do that on a daily basis. Did see on the Facebook page responded to somebody who posted that with, I guess you guys are following the directive of a medical staff person or something who's sort of guiding the school on this, but I just find that decision somewhat concerning because even on the local sports level, football, baseball, they're required to do the temperature check for those sort of activities. It just seems almost an unbelievable decision not to do the temperature check. Why is that?
Sure. One of the things you have to realize is that we are still in stage 2 of the road back. And so the guidelines right now for anything in person, for example, we're conducting child study team evaluations, require the temperature checks. In the restart guidance, in which obviously we would need to increase the 25% capacity in person in a classroom or space, the guidance is different. So the guidance from the Department of Ed says to us that you need to do some type of screening. So one piece of that is a visual check when children enter and throughout the school day. And our nurses will be training our staff members on how to do that visual check. So in terms of the decision, I will tell you, we started to research costs for purchasing wrist scan thermal temperature checks and all kinds of pieces of equipment. And then we talked to medical professionals, our school nurses. They consulted with our district doctor of record. We have read journal articles. And in my meetings with other superintendents in the county, that process has been replicated by districts over and over. And when we think about the temperature screening, it really can create a false sense of security. You can have children going through the line and they may, have just been in an air-conditioned car, and so the temperature reading isn't correct. Or any of us, child or adult, may or may not have a fever. So a fever is just one of many symptoms that show in COVID-19. So then we need to apply other factors. And these factors include issues of HIPAA, which relates to patient privacy, the issues of a child being pulled out of line because the contactless thermometer, which only shows a surface temperature, or the wrist scan, is giving a false reading. And I know this has happened to both adults and children alike, where they were pulled out of a line, where they were moved aside, they get to, relax and rest. And then the next thing you know, they don't have a temperature. And so when we looked at every factor, we need to realize that just doing that really doesn't give what people want. And let's be honest, people are asymptomatic. So there really is no guarantee, even with a temperature check. And so you have to weigh the negative sides of it. And again, this was not a decision we made without consulting the medical profession. We will be sending families who are having their children attend in person very detailed information about what is expected. And, I saw one of the comments on Facebook, well, suppose parents don't do it, or suppose they lie. You may or may not realize this. There are parents that already do that they know their child has a fever and they fill them with Tylenol and send them to school. And the next thing you know, we see the signs, the child's droopy or whatever the case may be. And I do not mean to disrespect anyone or downplay it, but we have weighed all aspects of this. And we really believe that this is the right decision, and that we have to give families and our staff members that responsibility. If I heard from, a medical professional, one of our nurses, if I heard from one of my colleagues, if I heard from our district doctor, and more districts were making the other decision, we would have to consider that. We want the children to be safe and healthy. We want our staff to be safe and healthy. And we had to weigh all the factors, and that is how we arrived at that decision.
Right, and so if a child turns out to have tested positive, does that whole class then quarantine for 14 days? Does that teacher then quarantine for 14 days? How does that work?
Sure. The guidance about that has come to us from the Department of Health. And so if someone in the school tests positive, first of all, unless someone tells us that if a child tests positive, the Department of Health notifies the school district. We would hope that a family would call us as well. And the Department of Health takes the lead on their process of contact tracing. The school nurse and administration, if necessary, would assist with that contact tracing. Part of contact tracing is interviewing the person who's positive. In the case of a child, I dropped again, but my colleagues are still up.
We apologize. We are experiencing technical difficulties again. We are working to get Dr. Giaquinto available to everyone. It should happen momentarily.
Hello, everyone. My apologies. I went to a different, oh, I'm still muted. No, I'm good now. I went to a different device, which I wasn't using because I can't look straight at you very well, so I apologize. So I was talking about the Department of Health. So what happens is the Department of Health interviews the person who's positive. Obviously, in the event of a child, they'll be speaking to the parent, and they get all information from that person. In addition to that, they are then reaching out to the school to get information from us. And basically, the Department of Health looks at, just because you're in the same space as someone does not automatically mean you are exposed. They need to get additional information about whether you were in 6 feet. Was your mask on, the time frame? I can't explain every detail because I am not the Department of Health, but there's a very specific process that we work with the Department of Health regarding the positive, the timing of the diagnosis, when that student was last in school, and all of that. One of the reasons that we have children staying still and teachers moving for the most part is you are limiting that cohort. So based on the contact tracing done and our consultation with the Department of Health, it may be that class has to quarantine while the contact tracing is being done, and then individuals are handled differently based on the results of the contact tracing. As superintendents in the county, we have met with the director of the Atlantic County Department of Health twice. I will tell you very honestly that every one of our questions has not been answered. And we actually have put questions in writing to the Department of Health. We also have been doing some of our own training related to contact tracing, and our nurses have as well. And so we are still fine tuning those protocols, but absolutely will have them pinned down as we move closer toward the opening of school. Once again, we need everyone to be healthy and able to attend school and learn.
Right. Okay, well, thank you for answering those questions.
Sure, and I'm sure you asked some things for other folks. So thank you for participating tonight and be well. So folks, let's see if we get another call. We have the phone number up again. And I really thank you for your patience with the technical difficulties. I'm hoping that that device was just unhappy, and this device, although I can't look at you quite straight in the face, will stay connected to the internet a little bit better. I will share some information. Oh, every time I do that, we get a call. It's great. Hi, you're joined our town hall meeting.
Hi, yes, I just had a question in regards to if the students are learning virtually or not.
Okay, so what is your question, ma'am? I'm not sure I understand.
So if the student is opting for virtual only, is there some sort of curriculum that's going to be sent home? How does that process work?
Sure. Whether a child is in person or virtual, the curriculum is the same. The content, the pacing guides, that is, they are exactly the same whether you are virtual or hybrid. In terms of how the learning will take place, there will be a learning management system like Google Classroom. We are actually transitioning for September to a new major platform for families called OnCourse. It's going to be much better than the parent portal you have right now. So what will happen is, prior to the start of the school year, we will send you specific directions from the district level, but before the first day of school, there will also be teacher-specific information coming to you. One of the reasons we asked families in the commitment form whether or not you have a device and internet access is that will be the main way of learning, that students for the synchronous or live portions will log in through the Zoom link that teachers send them. For the portions where it is asynchronous, meaning they're working more independently, say watching a video or things like that, when they go to submit assignments, that will all happen through the learning management system like Google. Does that help?
Yes, it does. So will there ever be any times where the students may be on a Google Meet with their classmates if they're completely remote?
They will be on that. We will be using Zoom for those live sessions, and everyone who's in that virtual classroom will be live together when the teacher goes live.
Okay, great. Okay, great. All right, thank you so much for all of your help.
Thanks for calling in. Have a great night and be well.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Folks, we realize there's a lot of questions about virtual learning. I know from our Restart Advisory Committee, and if any of those members are watching, it was more than 100, and we thank you again. We know that some parents reported really good news and positives from their experience last spring, while some others expressed concern. We just ran a summer learning program and ESY remotely. Hi, this is Dr. G. I'm going to mute for a moment. Thank you. So we are collecting feedback from those experiences, and we know it's already better than what happened in the spring.
Hello?
Hi, yes, I asked you to hold on a moment. Thank you. So we already know it's better, but I want you to know the commitment to make the virtual piece, whether it's totally virtual or the hybrid, an enhanced version. There is such dedication and time and expertise being put into that. So now let me go to our next caller. Hi, thank you for holding. It's Giaquinto. How can I help you tonight?
I wanted to know about the timing.
The timing?
Timing for the virtual, yeah, for the virtual learning, the timing.
Sure. So in terms of any part that's virtual learning, there will be a schedule given to the students and the parents that will show you when the teacher will be doing live things, and you'll also see what things are posted. I will also share that I have heard from some parents who would like almost every moment to be live. And then I've heard from other parents who say, you know, someone else is watching my child. The person hung up, but I'm going to continue. I've heard from other parents who say someone else is watching my child and maybe they're not tech savvy, and my child can't always come on live when the teacher is doing that. And we recognize that every family has a different situation. And so our virtual aspects will be a mix of the two. And, you know, the teachers will provide opportunities. While there may be times when they're working with the whole class, there will also be opportunities when they are working with a small group or having what a lot call office hours, where people can sign up. I'm going to answer and see if this is the same person or not. Hi, this is Dr. G. Is this the same person or someone new?
No, this isn't for.
Okay, how can I help you? I was answering the question about the timing. Hopefully you were able to hear my answer.
Yes, I'm hearing that answer right now. My question is, does the district township have any means of testing staff, schools? So in the first day of school, that that there's not 50 asymptomatic people that are on, staff, children, or whatever. Is there any means the state has provided that for any district?
So are you asking how we're going to know that people aren't positive before they enter the school?
Well, yeah, I didn't know if the state had any guidelines for testing staff or children, for that matter. At the beginning of school, and where we would go from that point. Just because people can be asymptomatic and carrying COVID. That was my question. Whether the state has produced anything to help each district, because it is a lot to accomplish.
Sure. I will tell you that there is absolutely nothing from the state that suggests doing any testing of students or staff. And I will also tell you, in my reading of the guidance from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, they also do not recommend widespread testing. So that is not something that is under discussion. I have not heard anything about that from the governor, from the Department of Education. That is not something school districts are really equipped to do. And again, I did read the CDC guidance where that is not the recommendation of widespread testing. I realize there's probably a lot of different opinions about that, but as a school district, we need to look at the guidance from the state as well as the CDC.
Understood.
I really appreciate you calling, and that was a new question for me, so thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Be well. So it's great to have callers. I'm going to ask Dr. Hyman to put the call information up. Here he goes, back on the screen. Hi, you're on our town hall meeting live.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Good. Sorry, my phone hung up to free up the line, but I was asking about the timing question, and I just wanted to confirm that once again. Will there be a set time from like 10 to 2 or 11 to 3?
Yes, sir. There will be a schedule. Whatever class your child is assigned to, that teacher will provide you with that schedule.
Okay, thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for calling in, and be well.
Okay, sorry about that.
And here's our number and extension again. If you have a question or would like to make a comment, we really appreciate those who have called in already. I know many of you have posted questions or comments on Facebook, and we are trying to keep up with them on a daily basis. Additionally, some families have contacted me directly. And here we have another caller. Hi, you're live on our town hall meeting.
Hi, Dr. G. I had spoken to you actually over the spring concerning my son. He was in first grade at Reedsford, last year. He is really still very behind, like he's hardly reading and everything. I was wondering, is there any way that he could be will he be able to be evaluated if he should be able to move on to second grade or not? Or is he just automatically going into second grade?
Sure. A couple thoughts on that. One of the things we realize is that, the students did not get the full year because of the closure. And, from reading a lot of articles and talking to different parents, the concern is, did it affect younger children more than older children? At this point, unless you were contacted that there was a concern, all children are being promoted to the next grade. We will be, once we get the school year rolling, we want to acclimate the children socially, emotionally, help them learn the new protocols, and, get them back to school. We will be doing assessments to see where students are. So although we want to look at the grade level standards, we also want to identify where we need to work with children in small groups to differentiate what supports they may need. And, we know, for example, if a child is totally virtual in that model, there will be opportunities through Zoom where the teacher can create small group classes, set different hours based on if children are more advanced or need extra help. In the hybrid model, we anticipate, because, if we take off the children that aren't attending in person at all, and we're dividing the other groups in half, class size will be small in person. And so that's going to allow the teacher to really get a handle on where each child is and differentiate the instruction. I would also say to you, as an individual mom, if you really have that concern, you are welcome to email me, and I can connect you either with the building administrator or one of our directors to delve a little further. They can look at your child's records. Sometimes parents don't realize that there are a number of other children that are really at the same place that their child is. And so, you sound concerned, so please feel to reach out individually so we can look at it a little more closely.
Okay, yeah, I do have your email. So, like I said, I was emailing you over the spring, so I will get in touch with you.
That's great. Thank you so much. Be well.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing. You too.
Take care.
You too.
I missed something. Should I tell them that? One of my colleagues here just held up a paper that there's 200 of you joining us tonight, and that's great. We have another phone caller. Hi, you're live on the town hall meeting.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
Hi. All right. Do I need to wait for my turn?
Nope, you're on. You're on live. We'll love to take your question or comment.
Okay, my question is, how long will the teacher-student instruction be a day?
Can you say that one more time?
How long will the teacher-student instruction be on the virtual days?
Sure. So the question, in case others did not hear it, is how long will the student instruction be on the virtual day? So part of that depends. If the child is totally virtual, the school day will be a combination of live and working on their own. By state code, a day has to be at least 4 hours, not inclusive of lunch. And that can be a combination of the live, the work they do on their own, the teacher going back live with them. For the students that are in the hybrid model, on the days they are not in person, there may be a portion of the day where they join the class, but what will definitely happen is after the in-person students dismiss, the teachers will be taking time to work with those children who were not in person on that day. And so I can't give you an exact amount, but again, it will be a combination of both the synchronous and the asynchronous. Two terms that I think a lot of us have added to our vocabulary since the pandemic.
Well, I think the problem that I have with this is now my child is in the extended school year. So it was supposed to be 3 hours a day that if they were to go to the school, it winds up being a half-hour instruction, which I don't feel is really anything at all.
So I'll respond in two ways. In terms of that specific concern, I would love for you to email me separately so I can talk to Dr. Baldwin, our Director of Student Services for Special Education, to see what's happening in your child's particular class. I can also say to you that, again, it will be a combination. It's certainly, for example, not going to be 4 hours straight live. And part of the reason for that is that's not necessarily recommended, especially when children are younger or special needs. So I don't have every detail of that for you today. But as we complete the details of the plan with the virtual learning committee, we will be pushing out more specifics for parents. I can tell you, I absolutely expect that it will be more than 30 minutes, particularly in the virtual only program. And again, please email me individually.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you so much. Have a great night and be well. So here's our phone number. It is like magic. Hi, you're live on our town hall meeting.
I'm sorry. I missed your first couple minutes. I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Will the school year start on time, or we are starting on a delay schedule?
Well, as of this moment, our first day of school for students is Wednesday, September 9th. Now, I think we all know that on any day, the governor could make an announcement that changes things. But as of now, our plan is to start for students on Wednesday, September 9th. Because that is a 3-day week, that Wednesday will be virtual, will be the all virtual day for everyone. That Thursday will be the A group, and that Friday will be the B group. And then the first full week will move into the all virtual Monday A-B split. A color-coded calendar will be provided with you to make sure that every parent knows the A and B days. And we also in the calendar are accounting for example, November, my least favorite education month because we're closed so much. We will adjust for that. So again, as far as we are concerned, school opens for students on September 9th.
Okay, and my second question is, so some kids are going to be virtual, some kids are going to be 2 days, and the other will be another 2 days. Is that correct?
Yes, so on the commitment form for each child, a parent has to indicate, do you want to be totally virtual or do you want to be in the hybrid model? If you pick the hybrid model, we will be dividing all those children at each grade in each school into an A group and a B group. So on Monday in that hybrid model, everybody's virtual. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the A group is in person, and then on Thursday and Friday, the B group is in person. other than the exception I just mentioned about the first week of school.
Okay, and the last question is the in-person days, will they be half days or full days?
They are early. I'm going to repeat the question because the audience can't always hear that. So the last question was, are the days in person full days? They are not. They are early dismissal days. That dismissal at middle school is at 12:15. At preschool and elementary, that is at 1:30. I will add 2 points. One is that at pre-K to 6, childcare will be available starting at 1:30. I will also add that one of the reasons we are doing the early dismissal is to get that cleaning and disinfecting done in full mode on a daily basis. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Be well.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hi, you're live on the town hall.
Hi, I have a question about the hybrid A/B schedule.
Sure.
Is there A/B also for the teachers, or are the teachers seeing all the A students and all the B students?
So every child is, the question was, is the teacher seeing the A students and the B students? So for every child in the hybrid model will be assigned a teacher, just like they would if school was normal. And that they will be part of that same class. So the same teacher will have an A group and a B group. And so, for example, on Monday, the all virtual day in the hybrid model, all of the children, both the A's and the B's, any portion of that all virtual day that's live, all the children will be invited to that same Zoom link to log in. On the days that only half the children in that class are there, there may be a time where the children at home are invited in through the Zoom link. And so, yes, the kids are assigned to a class in that hybrid model, and that same teacher works with the A's and B's in that class.
Okay,
Thank you for asking.
thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. Be well. Fortunately, I have Dr. Hemmon and Mrs. Napoli helping me tonight, holding up signs. So I want to thank them again. Hi, you're live on the town hall.
So my oldest son will be entering middle school this year, and I have a few questions. The first one is there going to be a...
Oh, you cut out.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you again. You dropped off for a moment.
Oh, okay. My oldest son is going to be entering 7th grade this year, and I have a few questions. The first, is there going to be a 7th grade orientation, and when will that be?
Sure. The orientation is going to happen in 2 pieces. The first thing that will happen is a video will be created and will be sent. The link will be sent to the families of all 7th graders. And I will say, this is true for preschool and kindergarten orientation as well. Our orientation programs are so comprehensive, and we generally have everyone at once. Obviously, we're not allowed to do that. So it will start off with a video orientation, and then there will be an in-person portion to the orientation. If you've been to it in the past, because you have an older child, you know that it's normally everyone at once. Obviously, we will be breaking it into smaller groups. We have not finalized dates for that. We do anticipate that it will be at the end of August or the very beginning of September before the children return.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question. I know you mentioned that they won't be changing classes in the traditional way. Does this mean that it'll be kind of like elementary school where there'll be a class that stays in the same classroom all day long and the teachers switch out? And if so, how many different teachers will they have during the day?
Sure. And the question was about at the middle school level, will the children be staying in a class and the teachers moving around? And I will tell you, we had a lot of discussion about this because part of middle school is changing classes and remixing. However, we needed to go with the guidance from the health experts that talk about creating cohorts. So what will happen at the middle school is students will be assigned to a class and the teachers will rotate. So in a normal situation, a student has a teacher for language arts, math, science, and social studies, one from the middle school is broken into teams. So there's a team with all 4 of those teachers. So the students will still be in that team. They will remain in the room, but each of the content area teachers will rotate into their classroom. For other subjects, for example, I'll use phys ed. We are creating a schedule where that group of students will leave the classroom and go to whether phys ed is outside or in the gymnasium. But again, the goal is all day to keep students in those cohorts. We do have some students that have a pull-out program. For example, pull-out resource is one special education service. So even in that situation where the students are being pulled out, they're going to be pulled out in that cohort.
Okay, thank you. And middle school will also be eating lunch in the classroom as well?
That is correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. Take care. So that last caller, even though was asking about middle school, those things that I mentioned really are across the board at all grade levels. And let's take the next caller. Hi, you're live on the town hall. How are you?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Hello, do you?
Yes, I can. What question or comment do you have for us?
Hi, Dr. G. The question I wanted to find out is, for the students that will be doing all virtual, are they going to be having their textbooks and the cool books available for them?
Thank you for asking that. Anything that the students need that you would not have at home, we will be doing a distribution. So for example, if you have the technology and don't need it from us, great. If you do need a device, just like in the spring, we will provide that. In terms of other kind of materials, if there is something that we feel we can't do through like the Google Classroom, we will have that packaged and allow parents to pick that up. One of the things we are actually working on is any kind of supplies that we need to distribute to families, looking at what we've already ordered, but what other things we might need to order. So yes, that will be happening. And of course, what kind of textbook or workbook a child might need really varies by the content area and grade level. So that is something we are working on. And when as we move along in the next couple of weeks, that is the kind of update that we will be sending to parents, including when you can come and pick that up.
Thank you so much. And I have another question pertaining to the food. For the free breakfast that they will be giving for some of us, the parents that lost our jobs during this pandemic, and our children were not qualified to get the free and reduced lunch. So I know I filled up the application, but they haven't get back to me. So how are we going to go about doing that with the free breakfast pickup on the lunch?
Sure. So if you're asking about free and reduced meals,
Yes.
one thing I want to remind everybody, and you may not know this if you have a child new to us, we have universal breakfast. So every day, every child can get breakfast at no charge to the family. If you already are, if you previously were free and reduced, For the first month of school, that status remains the same. But if now your family circumstance has changed, you can apply. That information is available on our website, or you can call the district office at 609-748-1250, and then you can follow the menu. Our district supervisor of food services and her secretary work 12 months and are available to help you if you need assistance with completing the free and reduced meal application.
Thank you so much, Dr. J, for all the hard work.
Thank you. We have a great team and we appreciate the parent interest as well. Please take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Hinman and Mrs. Napoli. Here is the information on our website about free and reduced meals. And if you could see where they're moving the cursor, there's that green tab for food services. And we have another call. Hi, you're live on the town hall.
Hi, I have one question. My question is if you have multiple children in a family that's doing virtual learning and a household only has like one computer, will computers be provided for every child? Because it would be difficult if they had virtual learning at the same time and only one device.
Yes, that absolutely is our goal, that it is one-to-one. We already have an extensive complement of Chromebooks in the district, and we actually have more coming in as well. And I will say that, a family that has one and they don't need one from the district, we appreciate you using your own. But if you don't, or if you're in the case, I could have one for one of my children, but not my other children, we will absolutely help you with that.
Okay, wonderful. That was it. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Take care. While we're waiting for the next caller, it's a good time for me to remind everyone, if you have not filled out your commitment form, to please do so. Hi, you're live on the town hall.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. A few questions. On the Mondays that everybody is virtual, will there be the teachers available as well on that day from the school or not?
Oh, absolutely. The role of the teacher on that Monday, all virtual day, is to go live with the students to talk about the instructional and learning goals for the week, to overview everything, to do introductory lessons so that all the children start on that same page on Monday.
Okay, since it's half days, what are the teachers concentrating on? Are they gonna be like doing mostly math and just language arts during that half days and then specials at home, or how's that gonna work?
Sure. So in terms of the schedule and the content areas, we will be covering everything. And some of the schedule varies by the grade level. For example, in kindergarten and first grade, social studies is embedded into language arts, and that practice will continue. And so whether the children are virtual or in person, they will be having their core academics, and then the special areas, some things will be a combination if you're on the hybrid schedule of some of it happening in person and some of it happening virtually. But in terms of language arts, math, science, and social studies, that will always happen on in-person days, unless it's something that doesn't happen at that grade level. We are making schedule adjustments. And, one of the pieces is looking at each curricular area and really honing in on the most important content that our children need to learn in that area. And again, the schedule, when I mention the family getting the schedule, it's not just, oh, log on at 10 o'clock. This is the content. This is the activity. This is the special area or whatever that will be happening at that time.
Okay, and what happens if we're all virtual come the date, the school opens? Will the teachers be going into the classroom to teach virtually or working from home?
The teachers that are assigned to the all virtual model will have a classroom here at school so that they can do the lessons from school. That helps us ensure the internet, that they have all their materials and resources. So that is the plan.
Okay, and one more thing. If at any time during the school year, if computer breaks that the student is using, are we able to get a Chromebook?
Certainly. If in the initial, the question was if somebody has a Chromebook and then their computer breaks, a month into school, can they contact the school to get one? And the answer is certainly yes. We actually had that happen to families last spring.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. We have a great team and you have a great night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I want to thank everyone who has called so far and those of you that are listening in. It's about 20 of 7. I start to talk. I'm sorry. I am looking at the clock wrong. I'm going to take this call. Hi, you're live on the town hall.
Thanks for taking my call, Dr. G. Do you have a plan for students that were in Richmond?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry. I could not hear you.
Gifted and talented.
Do you have a plan for students that were in the enrichment classes in elementary school, like the PEP program?
Sure.
Will that be structured to this year as well?
Yes, absolutely. The question was about our gifted and talented program. And I will tell you that is something we are still working on. Depending on the grade level, it might involve the GEM teacher pushing into the classroom. It might involve that piece being done virtually at a scheduled time. And so, for example, if a child's totally virtual, obviously it'll be done virtually. If a child is in the hybrid model, the GEM piece might happen virtually on the days that children are not in person or later in the day after the class dismisses. That is a piece of scheduling we are still working on, but one way or another, those services will still be provided.
And if the child was in the enrichment program last year, are they automatically put into it this upcoming year?
Everyone who was in it last year will be continued this year. If that is not the case, the parent has already been notified.
Thanks so much, Dr. G. This has been really helpful.
Thank you. Have a great night. And I must say, the fact that the two curriculum directors are also the hosts tonight and in the room with me is really helpful. And I will tell you, they are masked, even though I'm not. Hi, you're live on the town hall.
Hi, Dr. G. I'm your first caller, and I'm calling back. I have one more question. So my children are going into 4th grade, and my son is very interested in taking a musical instrument. And I'm wondering how that's going to be handled if they are virtual, or if it's possible.
It absolutely is. And we are still working on instrumental music. Some of our music teachers actually shared some studies with Dr. Hinman, who does oversee music. One of the things we are considering for instrumental music is doing that virtually for any number of reasons, be it the length of the school day, the fact that there are a number of children working virtually. We did have a summer pops program that was conducted virtually this year. And I know we got a lot of good feedback about the virtual instrumental music that our teachers did in the spring. So not finalized, but again, like Jem, one way or another, it will happen.
Okay, and will an email come out about that, or how will we find out?
Yes. One of the things that you're going to see happen as we shape and fine tune plans, there will be updates coming out. We will put them on the website. We will email them to you. And certainly when school is ready to open, just like you get different information at the beginning of each school year, that's going to happen. I will share that one of the conversations we had administratively this week is we know we always send you that huge parent-student handbook. We know we got to rein it in and really focus on what you need to know under the current circumstances. We're also talking about chunking it, what you need to know to get started, and then what you need to know as the school year progresses.
Okay, so we'll be able to rent the instruments through the school, or will we have to do that on our own?
That's a question. We will work with you to coordinate that.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Dr. G. Kudos to Mr. Payton and Arthur Rand. Thanks so much.
Thank you, and I'm sure he appreciates that shout out.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Be well. So folks, I am thinking we've actually been on over an hour. Am I looking at the clock correctly that it's quarter of? So I am going to take a few more calls because we're already over the hour. So I'm going to take this call right now. Hi, you're live on the town hall.
Hi, I just had a couple questions for you tonight.
Sure.
First, I was just wondering if you had a plan for as far as how meal service would be handled, if it would be delivered to their classroom or if they would be in the cafeteria.
Sure. They absolutely will not be in the cafeteria. Meals will go to the classrooms and the students will eat in their classrooms.
Okay, thank you. And for specials, are they going to be in like leaving the classroom to go to those specials, or will the special teachers be coming to them?
Specials teachers, and at the middle school, we call that arts and humanities and phys ed, and arts and humanities. For phys ed, we do hope to have the children, when the weather's nice, go outside and also use the gym, obviously following all the rules. For the other areas, the teachers will be going to the classrooms.
Okay, thank you. And will there be like designated times, weather permitting, for classrooms for the younger kids, especially to be able to go outside for what would be recess, or to like be outside at all?
It may not be recess per se. That is something we will look at. Part of it is managing, if there's days when phys ed is outside, how much space do we have outside to safely do that? In terms of recess, one of the things that we feel is, because it is an early dismissal day, that break for that recess time will happen, at home, or if the children are going to a daycare outside of the district. If they're staying here for our child care program, will build recess into that. Because it is a shortened day, we really need to focus on getting that academic content, getting those arts and humanities experiences. I will add, and this has not come up a lot tonight, but part of it will be building in those brain breaks and that social emotional learning. We have our second step program. We will still be doing that addresses those non-academic pieces.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So folks, we are now at 10 of 8 and have gone a little longer than our hour. I'm going to do this one last call, but I am going to say this is the last call. Hi, you're our last caller for this evening. Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, you're our last caller for the evening. What question do you have?
I was wondering if you know the classroom size yet, and also I had a question about aftercare.
Sure. So your first question was about class size. Looking at the data we have so far, with a lot of families having filled out the commitment form, when we take off the top, the children that are virtual only, and then split the other children into A and B groups, we anticipate 10, in some cases, even fewer children in person at any one time.
Okay.
And your second
And then
question?
My second question is aftercare. How would it work if your child is in aftercare? Where would those children go and how would they continue to be in the small group?
Sure. One of the things obviously is important is that families who want childcare register, so we can analyze that and determine how many staff members we need, how we can create small groups within that cohort. Obviously, putting in social distancing, the mask wearing, because everyone is dismissed, we have any number of spaces that we can turn around, clean if they need to be cleaned, and continue to practice those social distancing guidelines. I will also add that there are regulations that are specific to childcare that we have already analyzed and planning is underway. Thank you so much. So folks, I want to thank the 200 of you that tuned in tonight, as well as our many callers. I encourage you to please continue to look for emails and listen for phone calls, to pay attention to our Facebook page and website. I will also tell you we have a board meeting this Monday night. It's at 6 o'clock. It was supposed to be in person and live streamed, but because of the governor's announcement on Monday of 25 people or fewer in person indoors, we had to go all virtual. I will tell you, I will be doing an overview of our restart plan because it needs to be submitted to the county office next week. And then once that is presented and gets board support, that plan will be posted. It's extensive. It is dozens and dozens of pages for those of you who are interested in reading all even more detail. My final reminder tonight is anyone who has not completed the commitment form, we really need you to do so. It is critical to our planning of looking at whether children are virtual or hybrid, creating the hybrid groups, and finalizing teacher assignments and classroom assistant assignments and room use. Again, I cannot thank you enough for your support, for your patience, and for everything you have done to support us. I also want to thank Mrs. Pakula, who has been helping host from home, as well as Mrs. Napoli and Dr. Hinman for their assistance with tonight's town hall. Again, please look for an FAQ and or the posting of the actual recording of tonight's town hall. We miss you folks. We look forward to school opening. Please take care.